Being an old soul is hard. However, this is often overlooked because we're so good at internalizing our conflicts. To gain a better understanding of what an old soul is, you can watch our previous video, 10 Signs You're an Old Soul. It takes courage to be different from the crowd, and the path isn't necessarily easy. These are 10 difficulties old souls can relate to. Number 1. You're marginalized. Society doesn't know how you operate, and because of that, they think you're overwhelmingly different. People don't always know how to handle differences, so instead of attempting to understand you, they ignore you. Being marginalized isn't actually a reflection of who you are, but a reflection of the fears of those who separate you from themselves. Number 2. You're misunderstood. It's like you speak a completely different language from others. You feel like you have to explain yourself a little more because people don't understand where you're coming from. What you think is truthful and significant might not mean anything to others. To convey your thoughts and ideas, try using a creative outlet, such as illustration or photography, which are great methods of indirect communication. Number 3. You have more existential crises than the average person. What happens when life gives you lemons? You're exactly the type of person to ponder over such questions, and consequently, you overthink. You start to become unaware of what life has to offer and lose yourself within that. On one hand, you have incredible insight and wisdom, but on the other, it might be downright chaos. Instead of drowning in your thoughts, let things happen in moderation and find your stability. Number 4. Your need for space can drive people away from you. Space is essential for you, and when you demand it, the people closest to you might take it the wrong way, creating massive misunderstandings. During such situations, make sure to find a way to compromise. Number 5. You feel lonely. With all the misjudgments you face and the difficulties you go through, it can get lonely from the view up top, and you never really grow out of it. Loneliness follows you everywhere you go, mostly because wisdom and a certain degree of isolation always go hand in hand. Number 6. It's hard to find people similar to you. People often find you boring because you don't like hitting the bar like a normal young adult, or you'd rather stay in and watch a movie with a hot cup of tea instead of going out to a party. You struggle to find others who share the same relaxing hobbies. Number 7. Love seems impossible. The dating pool seems small and dim when you struggle to talk to a majority of the people available. As a result, you feel cynical when it comes to love. Making connections just doesn't seem worth it half the time, especially if you feel more rejected than accepted. If you want to find and build something real and long-lasting, you have to be honest about what you want. Number 8. Your philosophical tendencies can be overwhelming. Your mind is constantly connecting every piece of information to one another. It's called webbed thinking. And while being able to create limitless possibilities sounds genius, your thoughts can become a mess, leaving you tangled and overwhelmed. Number 9. You forgive things too easily. You see things and understand what people's intentions are, never reading things just on a surface level. You dig and find reasons for why people are the way they are, and consequently, you have a great capacity to forgive, even for those who don't necessarily deserve it. Number 10. It's hard for you to participate in life. Instead of participating in events, you'd rather observe and analyze on the sidelines because it allows for your mind to roam. And as someone who values space, it's hard not to indulge in that. As it becomes a habit for you to watch instead of do, you find it increasingly harder to join in. You know you're missing out, but it's also hard to shut off your judgments against yourself. Remember, you're a work in progress. It's okay to be scared, but don't let yourself stop yourself from doing what you want. Do you consider yourself an old soul? If so, have you ever experienced any of these difficulties or have tips on how to overcome them? Feel free to share in the comments below.